Yo, what is going on, guys? This is Joon, aka PowerOfPotato, coming to you from Team LaG. Today we have for you our Banlist prediction video. Um, Bandai is going to drop a new Banlist soon, and these are just some of our teammates' predictions and reasons why that we think that these cards should be banned. As Zenkai era is coming soon, um, comment down below what you guys think will get banned or get touched on the ban list so we can have a discussion. Also, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to our YouTube channel as we bring on more content. So what constitutes a ban, limit, or an errata? Bannable cards are cards that promote unhealthy gameplay or they limit future card design. Limited cards are cards that are overtuned or they're just too consistent and cards that should be put to one. So first off, we have the big trio at one. Power Super Saiyan, Bergamo Ferocious Roar, and Piccolo the New Ruler. Now, we think that these cards should be banned because they're already powerful cards at one, and if you see them, they're basically mini secret rares in a sense where they change the flow of the game for yellow and red, especially being cards where you can tap 2 energy, rest a card, draw a card, or a 20k double strike, right? So instead of just limiting these cards at one, we feel like Bandai should just ban them all together. Next is Turning the Tide. Now this is Blue's greatest finisher after Fu Shrouded, but it combos extremely well with this new SCR and the KO5 drop because the new Blue SCR states that you untap all your energy when you play the card, so you have a 40k triple attacker, then you go into Turning the Tide, it basically finishes the game, right? And there's only one real answer to it, which is the Jiren counterplay card, and it just doesn't promote like a fair game state, and a lot of blue decks just use this as a staple finisher, and Bandai should just ban this card at this point. Next up is Heartfelt Plea. This is a card that everyone tries to really put in their decks, and I know everyone's going to use this in the new Gogeta deck. So depending on how the Zenkai Awaken mechanic is going to work, we don't have the full details if it really does count as an Awaken skill, but if this card does not get hit, you're able to awaken your leader, and then you're able to Z-awaken your leader and play this card turn 5, turn 6, later down the line where resources are really heavy. You offering them triple strike, 30k them. It's just very strong, very in the late game, and we feel like because of this Z-awaken, it gives multiple opportunities for your leader to awaken this card to be abused further in the format. So these cards, Heartfelt Plea should be banned. Next up, we have Planet Tuffle. Planet Tuffle is a very strong deck for the blue baby deck, and we feel as if the errata is not enough because it's already proving to be a very strong control and mill deck. Even without the field card, we feel like blue baby can still sustain itself as a deck, and Bandai's been known to ban cards that promote unfun gameplay and game states, and Planet Tuffle, we feel like, does promote that because all the baby leader does is negate, 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 swing, charge, pass, right? There's very linear strategy and just negating, and they play these mill cards that, force you to just mill your deck, very uninteractive, very not fun. So Planet Tuffle should go, but the blue baby leader can stay. Lastly, for our ban predictions, we have Furthering Destruction, Champa, and Kai. Basically, what do these cards do? You combo it, you give any card double strike. Now, this has been a problem in this game for a very long time where being at 1 life doesn't suffice anymore. Being at 2 life is really being in the danger zone because these cards exist. We feel like this card is going to get banned because Bandai is printing very specific archetype double strike cards. For example, there's an SS4 Goku in red that gives double strike to the leader. There's a Bulma card in the Zenkai series that gives SS4 Vegeta, the blue leader, double strike as well. And because it's a furthering trend that we see these cards are being printed, that we feel like Furthering Destruction Champa and Kai are going to get banned. Cut here. Next up on our limited list, we have SS2 Trunks, Future on the Line. Yellow Trunks is a very powerful deck, and it abuses this card and Poutine to rest battle cards, rest unisons, rest your life, rest your leader, rest everything, right? And we feel like this card could be limited to 1 because of King Piccolo, the drum card. It's the same card, barrier blocker. It doesn't come out for free, it does cost an energy, but it basically draws you 2 cards, and it has 4 more power than the drum, and it's a 19k barrier blocker, which they can establish multiple of. If Bandai bans 1 barrier blocker or limits it to 1, we feel like this card should also follow the same suit. It's a more powerful card than drum, we feel, and it should be limited to 1. Next up, we have Baby Juvenile Parasite. This card is a very strong unison in red. It's very strong that almost all red leaders are now exploring how to use this unison to its best potential. It's an easy removal with a +1. You draw a card. It gives you access to Videl counterplay, which minuses 20 something. For red Saiyan leaders, once you combine it with King Vegeta's imposing presence, tapping out just makes them a 20k leader and just makes them very powerful. And I feel like it could be put to 1 because it's very overtuned for what it brings to the table. Next up, we have Boo Unison. Boo Unison, ever since this card came out, every blue deck has been finding some way to squeeze this in the deck because it's just the best blue unison in the whole game. 20k double strike blocker, +1, draw a card, you untap 1 at the end of turn. It's very strong. It can remove battle cards that are swinging, it can block for you. It does everything but your taxes, right? Because every blue deck is running it, in a similar fashion to Fighting Against Fate and Secret ID Mass Saiyan, we feel like this card could be limited to 1 because we feel like Bandai should explore different ways that players should use blue unisons. Next up, we have Koitsukai. Koitsukai is a card that's very taxing because you warp 2 cards every time you play a 15k or 20k or less battle card, right? And your opponent chooses 2 cards and warp it. So 1 Robotic Riposte is 2 cards. So it's very taxing to warp 2 cards, and we feel like Bandai should or could make an errata to this card. Instead of warping 2 cards, you could change to warping 1 card as cost. Or maybe it's only warp 2 cards for the first battle card being played on your turn. And also the fact that Koitsukai being stackable, that you can resolve 2 or 3 at once, is very taxing to the opponent and can promote unfair game states. The reload effect, where you put 2 cards from your hand, put them at the bottom, and you draw the same amount of cards, is also just free value that you get on the card, right? So we feel like Bandai can hit Koitsukai to limit 1 or errata it in some kind of way. Now these are cards that are just some hot takes maybe, or some cards that we feel like have been issues, and the first one we have is Senzu Bean. Senzu Bean is kind of been a controversial card. A lot of people have been saying ban it, some people have been saying not ban it. Collectively, we feel like every multicolor strategy relies on this card and enables a lot of things that the decks wouldn't be able to do without access to this color. Blue-yellow is a very popular archetype, very meta colors right now because they have access to Senzu Bean, which is so good. Maybe Bandai can think about errataing this card to maybe mono blue energy only, or lock it to mono blue leaders. The fact that all these other multicolor decks use Senzu Bean during their turn or on their opponent's turn just enables and extends plays that, wouldn't be possible without this card. So we feel like it should be hit in some type of way. Next, we have Cooler Counter. A lot of people in the community want this ban because this is the only counter that exists in a color that hits pretty much everything. Blue has one as well, but it costs 5 energy, which is pretty steep. Red has one, black has one, but they're locked to sparking, 1-drop negates, and they're very specific and their conditions are very hard to fulfill. Green also has a counter, but it's battle card specific and is locked behind a secret rare. The fact that yellow is the only color to have a counter that's very generic for 3 energy, that lets them draw 2 cards, is a 15k body, and just lets them continue the battle, is very insane. And the reason why we feel like this card should be hit in some way is because blue-yellow is very popular, and the fact that they can have access to this card and then activate Bean afterwards to recur all their energy for more negates or to push even farther, we feel like this card should be hit. If Bean gets hit in some way or form. If Bean doesn't get hit, this card might need to go. If Bean remains, this card might be the card to go. Lastly, we have two cards that we think should or they could come off the ban list. Janemba Bewitching Blow. It's a card that basically was banned or limited to one during time where free play was a very big thing, and when New Ruler was put to 1, this card was also put to 1. But we feel like this card could kind of come off the ban list because it requires you to have a skill list, cost 2 or 3, bounce it back to your hand. This card does not even have deflect, so it's very interactable. Yellow can rest it, blue can return it back to hand, green can KO it. There's a plethora of things that Janemba can be hit by. So we feel like this card is very fair enough that there's a cost. It's not free that you just need a unison like New Ruler to play this card. So we feel like this card can be put back at 4. Now lastly, this is kind of a hot take from our team, but it's basically sell 3-drop. As counterplays exist in the game, almost every deck uses them. We feel like this card can come back to 4 maybe. This card enables you access to Perfect Force Cell at turn 3, but a lot of colors, blue, red, yellow, you know, green even, can even hit this card. This card can resolve and then... Alright, cut here, Nate. Cut. So the last card on our list is Growing Evil Lifeform Cell. A lot of counterplay exists in our meta right now, and there's a lot of answers that you can respond this card to, right? So we feel like this card can potentially come back at 4. The only color I can really see not interacting with this card is maybe black, but I feel like at 3 energy, it's a very high cost to go into Perfect Force Cell, and maybe because of the other cards in the meta that this card can maybe come back to 4. So yeah, guys, that's the list. If you agree with us, let us know. If you disagree with us, let us know. Let us know why in the comments below. I'd love to discuss this with you. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This has been your boy, PowerOfPotato. Peace out.